everyone, and welcome to Mastering Music with Matthew. Today, we're going to have a head-to-head. It's going to be a brawl. We're going to have Wooden Reeds versus Plastic Reeds. Wooden versus plastic. Head-to-head. All right. And with me today, I have Jennifer Valaket. That's right, the classical saxophone player. And we're going to see what type of reeds she recommends. So, Jennifer, how are you doing today?
How are you? Thanks for having me again.
Definitely. Thank you for being here. So, today, I will be representing the plastic. What will you be representing, Jennifer?
Wooden.
Ooh, fancy Parisian. Very good. Okay, I will begin. Why do I prefer plastic reeds? The number one reason, right off the top of my head, that I prefer plastic reeds is because as a multi-instrumentalist, I find a lot of times when I'm performing or jamming or whatever, I'm changing instruments quite frequently. And so for me, wooden reeds, will dry out and warp, and you can't just immediately pick up your horn and just start playing it when you haven't touched it for 20 minutes. Whereas with plastic reeds, you can. And the thing I like the most about plastic reeds is that they don't even have to be moist. Now, I'll be honest, the whole like spiritual connection thing about moistening my reed, I still do that because I feel like it does play better if it's slightly moist. But that being said, once it's on that mouthpiece and it's secured there, I could pick it up 3 hours later and start blowing on it, and it's going to work great. I'm not going to have to worry about, whether my reed warped or whether it dried out, any of that stuff. So that's really the biggest reason. But another reason that I really like plastic reeds is because it takes so small an amount of air to articulate. And so you can get a bigger range of dynamics. It allows for whispering the low B flat so much easier in my opinion. And, I was never really a huge fan of the cane reed taste. Not that, I like plastic, especially if it's dirty, but the nice thing about plastic too is you can just, take some warm water and just wash it off if it gets dirty, you know what I mean? And then carefully put it back. The one thing about, okay, there's a couple of pitfalls to plastic reeds I'm going to tell you just because I'm being honest. You don't want to bend the tip, because if the tip gets bent even a little bit, it's busted, right? And then it's no good. So you got to be really careful with it, and the cost of them is expensive. However, that is offset. That is offset by the fact that this reed would last me for at least 6 months, like playing every day, because it just, it just lasts a very, very long time if you're careful with it. You still want to put your reed cap on, and the reason isn't, so much because the reed will dry out with like it is with wood. It's literally so that your pant leg or your sleeve or something doesn't brush it as you walk by or whatever, and then literally ruin your expensive Leger plastic reed. Okay, and these actually come from the great Canada. Hey, all right.
Yeah, I actually, so I think it's a player preference. And for me, I don't do as much gig work as you do. I mostly do teaching. But for me, I have both. I prefer the wooden ones because I don't know, just for my classical sound, I think I just like the sound of them better. And I usually, ever since college, I've been trained to get reeds ready to be playable. But I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the plastic ones, but like I said, I think it's a player preference. Really, I have students who love the plastic ones because it's the same reasons you do. I just personally like, for me, I don't know. I think because I grew up with these in college and everything. I'm just like, I guess I'm old school. But I'm not like totally opposed to using plastic reeds. It's just not my preference. But but I do have one, and it does come in handy from time to time. But yeah,
Give me
well, you
something really concrete and specific. Why you prefer wooden reeds?
mostly for me, because I like the sound. I like the timbre of it. Like for example, I guess when I do jazz versus classical, like I would prefer actually for jazz, I do like the plastic reed. I gotta say because it does kind of brighten the sound of it too.
Oh, it
For
does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for jazz. So I would use, if anything, I would use this for jazz. For classical, I just prefer the timbre of the wooden reed better, and that's just for me. It's just a sound preference. It's what I'm used to. Been using them since college, so I think that's really what it is with me. But like I said, I have students who use plastic reeds, and I don't tell them don't use them, you know. But for me, for me, I'm just like, yeah, on them. I just that's my own preference, though. Like honestly, yeah. But I
Cool.
think yeah, and I always have about like I could get almost a whole box ready to go that's playable for wooden. And if it doesn't sound right when I play the first couple notes, I switch it out. But for me, I mostly do like recordings of classical music and things like that. So it's different for me because I'm not at a gig. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to
Mhm.
pick up something right away. I'm also a flute player, so if I was gigging, like I did a wedding gig,
Mhm.
a while back, I would switch from sax to flute, so that's a little different, I guess. Well, maybe not, I don't know, but
Well,
because still,
but flute is too far of a tangent because it doesn't use a reed, and we're talking about reeds. So let's
no, no,
go back to the head to head. Boom, boom, boom.
what I mean about the reed though is like I guess for like switching from sax to flute, the plastic would be better because you don't have to wet the reed again and stuff. So like
Well,
for that,
sure, sure.
yeah. So so yeah.
But I can understand though. Like, but if you're playing classical, you know, you could take 30 seconds and prepare your reed. The thing is, because you're gonna play a piece, you can take a little. When I'm in the middle of a song, Jennifer, right? Say I'm singing and playing like my cover for "Just the Way You Are" that I released yesterday, right? I recorded it, in two different occasions. But if I was playing live, what I would do is I would play and sing the guitar, and I would loop sample phrase on my loop pedal while I'm playing the guitar, so it would catch the guitar recording. And then later in the song, when it's time for the saxophone solo, I would hit the loop, and I would take my guitar off, grab my saxophone, and start playing the saxophone part over the guitar loop. And so, like, my reed literally had to be ready to go right then. Like, I didn't have 30 seconds to prepare my
Right.
reed,
So
right?
right. So that makes absolutely more sense for you to use the plastic one for that. And you have an amazing sound with it too, also.
Well, I never was a fan of the metal mouthpieces, but I like the sound. And so, what I found personally is that if I use a nice hard rubber mouthpiece, but with the plastic reed and a nice soft Rovner ligature, right, then I can adjust it to get a little bit more of a biting sound, as if it was like a metal mouthpiece. Almost, it's not as cutting because the hard rubber is definitely warmer, but so it's sort of in between, like right? Like and a lot of the jazz guys that use those metal mouthpieces, they'll use the wooden reed to balance, right? Because the wooden reed's warmer, and then the jazz piece, the metal piece is definitely going to be brighter. So um, I just kind of use the reverse of that. For me, it always worked well. But I do think that we'll have to do another episode where we do metal mouthpieces
Oh,
versus hard rubber mouthpieces.
yeah, but
Head to head.
I don't know that we would be back to back on that because I agree with you there.
No, no, we can't agree. If we agree that it's not a head to head.
Maybe we could find someone else, another saxophone player who doesn't like,
We'll have to find. We'll have to get some metal saxophone, metal mouthpiece, not heavy metal, metal mouthpiece saxophone players in here, and then we'll have a 2-on-2, and we'll go boom, 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 boom.
like I have the rubber and the metal, and I never use the metal one because I don't like it. So anyway, that's a different topic, but
Definitely.
kind of like this though, and I don't use this that often. But I suppose if I was gigging, where you have no breaks, I probably would, So
All right, guys, it's time. Let's talk about what if I want to get some reeds that are just like you, Matthew, or just like you, Jennifer. I want reeds that you recommend. Would you let me know how I could get some reeds? Of course I will. And as an Amazon affiliate, if you buy the reeds from my links, which will be in the description and in a pinned comment, then you will help to support the studio and make us grow. And so, if you would like to get reeds like mine, Leger plastic reeds, you can find the link in the description, as I said, and in the pinned comment. And if you would like to get your hands on some Van Doren wooden reeds, as Jennifer uses, then you can also get them from the links in the description and the pinned comment. And so...
And if
yes?
you're going to get wooden reeds, I definitely recommend Van Doren. What do you think, Matthew, on that?
Well, yeah, if I was going to use a wooden reed, I would probably get Van Doren Java. And for me, I use a 2.5 on the Leger. I find them to be about a half a size harder than wooden, about, right? So if I was going to get a wooden reed, I would probably get a Java 3 is probably what I would get.
I wish I didn't pack them already, but because I'm moving next week, I had a whole box of different. So these I kept out because I was using them, but I had a whole like bin of different Javas, all the different Van Doren ones, size 3, size 2.5. It's ridiculous. I'm like addicted to different reeds, but I totally blame.
Just throw out the moldy ones.
Just what?
Throw out the moldy ones.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about plastic reeds. You don't get the moldy ones, so
Right?
Yeah, that's another good point about plastic. And also, I gotta say it's and I don't mean to be turning my stance here or anything, but also the other thing about it is that the plastic ones I think are easier to clean too. Wooden ones, like I'll soak them in water or something, not too long, of course, but warm water with soap or something. And I always tell students, if you're sick, throw them out. Well, if you're very sick, like strep or something. But
oh yeah. If you got the Rona or something, man, throw that reed away.
That's it.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of the Ronites.
No, that was funny. No, you're fine. And because I always tell people, and even before all this Rona stuff, I was always like, if you have strep throat, if you have whatever, just, throw it out because,
Everybody, please comment down below. Do you like wooden reeds? Do you like plastic reeds? What do you prefer? What do you think of the comments and the arguments that we made? Would you like to get your own reeds? That's right, you can get them down below. So everybody check me out next time on Matthew's Music Lesson Studio and Mastering Music with Matthew. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here with me, and we'll see you guys next time on Mastering Music with Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining me on Matthew's Music Lesson Studio. Please share this video, like, and subscribe. And did you know that you can get online music lessons from me on Zoom? I recorded MP4 for you, and you can then review that lesson forever. You can have it so we can go over it, you can practice along with it, and then that way, no matter what, you can relax and enjoy the lesson. So please, MatthewsMusicLessonStudio.com. I'll see you guys next time on Matthew's Music Lesson Studio.